The end of Title 42 did not lead to a predicted surge of migrant arrivals at the southern border. According to government data, on Sunday, the head of Homeland Security said crossings are down 50% since the pandemic-era policy expired. CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez joins us now in person. Thank you, Camilo, for coming up here. Why down and not up?
Hi, John. Border officials were preparing for as many as 13,000 migrants to enter U.S. border custody per day after the lifting of Title 42. We did see those numbers go up to 10,000, a record high, in the lead up to the policy change. But as you noted, they have plummeted ever since to fewer than 5,000 daily migrant apprehensions. I think it's still too early to draw a firm conclusion, a determination on why this is happening. But I think that there are three reasons for lower border crossings in recent days. The first one is that the governments of Mexico and Guatemala have deployed large numbers of law enforcement officials to their borders to stop U.S.-bound migrants before they cross the U.S.-Mexico border. The second reason is that the U.S. is now ramping up deportations and implementing the sweeping regulation that disqualifies many migrants from asylum. And the third reason is that I think there was this growing bottleneck of desperate migrants in northern Mexico, and many of them were told to enter the U.S. before Title 42 was lifted. I think we still could see a sharp increase in migration in the coming days, but I think the recent migration spike peaked last week.
On the second point, you mentioned the deportations. Is that sending a signal as well as actually deporting people? In other words, the signal gets back to those who might be coming and says this is for real. This isn't just a rumor. The border's closed.
Correct. For the past 3 years, most migrants who were coming to the border were being expelled under Title 42, that is, that public health authority. But that policy did not impose immigration or criminal consequences on migrants. Under regular immigration laws, people are deported to their home countries or Mexico and face at least 5 years banishment from the U.S., an exile from the U.S. They are not allowed to re-enter the U.S., and if they do, they could face jail time, criminal prosecution, and charges. And so the administration is now implementing this tougher policy, including that restriction on asylum that says that if migrants cross into the U.S. without permission after failing to seek protection in a third country like Mexico or Guatemala, they will not be eligible for asylum in the U.S. and will face deportation and that 5-year banishment.
So the poll is potentially less. I know that was one of three. I'm not making you argue the whole thing on it. But let me ask you now, how is our asylum cases being handled now under the new system?
Sure. So the new system is that if migrants don't wait to secure an appointment through a mobile app known as CBP1 to enter the U.S. at a port of entry so they can be processed there and given a court notice so they can seek asylum at a later date in the future, because, as you know, the system is massively backlogged with hundreds of thousands of pending cases, they will be ineligible for asylum if they cross in between the ports of entry illegally if they are not from Mexico, because most migrants have to travel through at least Mexico to enter the U.S. And this rule says that if you did not first seek asylum in a third country before entering U.S. soil, then you will be disqualified from U.S. protection.
Finally, we're talking about this new system. How much of the new system is at threat from legal challenges? And to the extent anything is going in the right direction, how much of that could be just undone?
Well, the Biden administration is hoping that a combination of increased consequences for illegal entries, like this asylum restriction, with expanded opportunities for migrants to enter the U.S. through the app that I mentioned, and also a sponsorship program for Cubans, Nicaraguans, Haitians, and Venezuelans, will gradually reduce migration. But now that strategy is facing lawsuits from multiple directions. The ACLU is challenging the asylum restriction in federal court, saying that it ignores asylum law and places refugees in danger. On the other side of the aisle, we have Republican-led states challenging the sponsorship program for these 4 nationalities, saying that the administration does not have the authority, the legal authority, to admit such large groups of people outside of the regular visa system. So the administration is facing a lot of litigation, and if some of these pillars of this strategy are blocked in court, they could very well face another spike in migration. That's their argument. And I think this just shows that this has become a problem for federal policymaking. In the absence of congressional action, different administrations with radically different views on this issue are taking unilateral actions that are vulnerable to being litigated in court, but also rescinded by the next administration.
In the absence of congressional action is the way every immigration story has started for the last 30 years. Camilo, thanks so much for being here. It's always a pleasure. If only you could come back every night for the next 2
Thank you,
weeks
John.
as we try to figure this out.